Today I'm talking about conditioning on the offensive line. So for most of the year, I use a high-low split where I have two lower body days and two upper body training days a week. Every day we do a warm-up. Every day we do some sprints or jumps or med ball throws. There's a little less on those upper body days. And then we do our skill. And every day we're going to play our games. We have our task, all these things, right? And then from skill, we go to the weight room. And if it's a lower body day, we go to the weight room and we get a cool down. But on the upper body days, we finish after the weight room with conditioning. Most sports finish their sessions of practice with some sort of conditioning or finisher or tempo work. Without getting too nerdy, they all come with benefits, whether it's aerobic capacity, overall capacity, or recoverability. And yes, football absolutely does have a aerobic component once you kind of add into all the plays, the length of the drives, and accumulation of effort throughout a game. There is an aerobic component. But I'm not big on having offensive linemen run at slow speeds just to accumulate volume for conditioning, nor am I big on a lot of the low impact training you see where guys just sit on a bike or walk with sleds because it does little to prep the tissues for the actual demands of the game. And I'm not saying they don't work or have benefit, but on my upper body days, I prefer to use grappling based games for tempo work. And I literally just refer to it as O-line tempo work. And no, it's not offensive line specific, but it does expose the athletes to having to adapt to pressure and react to movement and redirection of force and organizing their body against another human being, which all that absolutely exists in offensive line play. You're getting that loaded agility when there's another human being pressing on you, or even low intensity forms of agility when you're doing things like knee tap games, which again, they absolutely exist in the game of football, and this is prepping you for it. And overall, the athletes actually enjoy doing it because there's a competitive component to it. It's also playful, but every drill has a win condition. So athletes, are more than happy to do something kind of outside their realm and expertise, which they have to do every day, and go compete in something different. These guys are going to have plenty of stress once camp rolls around, and training should still remind them that they're preparing for something they love and that's fun. Even though football sucks, we love it, and we could kind of emphasize that by making the training fun at times. Go figure. And one of the more important things that I think gets overlooked as to why I like these kind of conditioning, grappling type tempo work is because football players just don't spend enough time with human on human interaction. Like outside of full practices, we do a lot of drills on air. But when if you shake hands with an old wrestler, you feel something different. Like they got crazy grip, their forearms and hands are strong. A lot of those guys aren't stronger because they lifted more weights. It's because they spent years hand fighting and grappling and drilling and competing against and resisting from another person. So that kind of exposes the O line to that, in which I believe we don't do enough of. So here's the setup. All these games are done at about 75% effort. We go 10 to 15 seconds on with a 30-second rest for 8 sets. And we go 2 to 4 rounds. Each round we kind of pick a different game. In this one, we got a 8-pound med ball. We're playing tug of war. We might be going a little harder than 75%, but for the most part, after a couple rounds, you're going about 75%. And in the object or the objective in this game is to get the ball away from the other person. Another option is that classic wrestling knee tap drill, and this is giving you a lot of agility work in a very low stance. The objective is to touch the other person's knee as many times as you can, and the loser at the end of the 8 rounds has to do 10 push-ups. It's an upper body day after all. I just call this a lateral scrum drill. You're on all fours, and your objective is to push the opponent and get your entire body to the other side of a line. Here's another game where the objective is to get some sort of a bear hug during that 15-second mark. And it's again 8 sets, 15 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And then we'll rest 2 minutes after this before we go to the next game. This one, we're just trying to get a 2-on-1 grip on one of their wrists. So you grab one of their wrists with two hands and hold it for 3 seconds. You get to win that round. We've gone as far to use gi tops, and we've done this just to bring fabric into the game with the same objective. The big take home to understand is that the drill that you choose does not ultimately matter as much as that the work they get out of it. These are general, so it's no different than picking between sprints and hill charges or even a back squat and front squat. What we're ultimately doing is giving these athletes just a fun way to break up the monotony of training and conditioning with these competitive and fun games that are general in nature, but they do expose you to many of the things that you get exposed to playing the actual game itself. So the effort, the sets, the rounds, and the work to rest ratio are what's most important.